So thanks, Chris, for the introduction. Like I said, my name is Olivier Proulx. I'm a product line manager and lead automation at Laserax. As mentioned, my background is in automation and PLC coding, but I'm a big technophile and I enjoy trying new technology and being up to date with new things that this ever-changing world has to offer. And that's why I'm so glad today to talk about one of my favorite topic that is dear to me, which is linking IT and OT technology using one of my favorite tools, which is CODESYS. So in order to do that, I divided my presentation into 5 blocks. So first, I want to talk a bit about Laserax, who we are, why we use CODESYS, and what do we do with it. And then deep dive into automation without the need of a physical PLC, a good tool, which is WebVisu for any application you might have. And finishing up with the main topic, which is linking IT and OT technology and why it's relevant in today's world. And finishing with the Q&A session, or as Chris mentioned, maybe we'll take that at the end after everybody else's presentation. So let's dive in. So what kind of company is Laserax? So we are a
Oliver,
lead.
sorry to interrupt you. You're not
Yeah,
sharing your screen in the moment.
it not anymore. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Why is it stopped? I thought it was working. Thanks for the heads up. Uh, is it working now?
Perfect. Yes.
Good. Sorry about that. So yeah, as I said, divided into 5 sections. So uh, what is Laserax? We are a leader in laser solution. We've been in business for 15 years. We have 150 employees in 4 different offices. Our main office and headquarters is in Quebec City, Canada. We do have a big application lab and cell office in Wixom, Michigan, in USA. We also have a cell office and a lab in Bad Körzingen in Germany. And we recently acquired the California-based laser company DPSS Laser. So we are in constant growth, 60% growth over the every year over the last few years. Our main clients are in the automotive industry, so we do deal with big names, and we have service centers in 20 different countries. We have deployed system in over 25 countries. We also invest about a fifth of our annual revenue in R&D to keep up with that ever-changing world that I talked about in my introduction. So what do we do? In a more precise way, we provide industrial-grade laser system and solution with the fastest processing laser in the industry, ranging from 10 watts to 3 kilowatts. So our laser system that we call the LXQ is shown on the top left here. And we can solve it directly to integrator, or we can put it in machine that we see on the right. We have various machine portfolios. So our simple example that you see here, showing a robot that can load a part into a machine, and that machine will close to offer a laser safety class 1 environment. And then we can do any kind of processing with it, ranging from marking, cleaning, texturing. No matter what the client needs, we will offer the turnkey solution with our laser expert to fine-tune the process to achieve the best result. And a big reason why we have success in our industry is because of our LXU laser system. So again, this is another version of it, the latest one. The heart of the system is the laser control module, which is the rack unit on the top here. So it's called the laser control module. Now we have the version 38 of our CTR 30 series. It offers some advantages such as a multi-protocol capability, embedded web HMI, pre-programmed automated sequence. It run CODESYS since 2019, so since the first ever controller that we did of that series, we're using CODESYS. It allows us to provide durable and flexible automation-based solution to our customer. So you can have CODESYS controlling the laser on one side and interfacing with the production line on the other. So it's a perfect example of automation properly done without PLC, which bring us to the first topic of my presentation, which is automation without the need of physical PLC. Is it a crazy statement or a possible viable solution? We'll explore that. Let's start with looking at what is a traditional PLC overviews. After that, let's think outside of the box and go with no physical PLC overviews and see what the advantage of that approach can have on your industry. So you have here your traditional setup. Every automation system usually requires a physical PLC that you can see here, separate HMI, then field IOs that are connected to different devices. You could have a drive with a motor. This architecture works well, but it creates dependency on a specific vendor, and it's at usually upfront cost. Is PLC is usually a closed box lock-in for a manufacturer ecosystem. So let's say you're more in Europe, you might go and say that like you're Siemens all the way. So it's a Siemens PLC, a Siemens HMI, Siemens Remote IO, Siemens Drive. If you cross the Atlantic in North America, it will be more about the Allen Bradley everywhere. So there's some challenge that comes with that. The first challenge will be high hardware costs. So PLC usually is expensive. You also have to pay licenses for the developing system, which in nowadays it's an older way of doing business. Also, HMI are usually pretty expensive. So once you pick up a vendor, you're kind of locked in their ecosystem. If it's Allen Bradley, it's usually Ethernet IP all the way. Siemens, you will go with Profinet all the way. Those are locked in ecosystem. You cannot really, exchange system between the two. So scalability is different if you want to go outside the ecosystem. And also, usually, uh, technology will fade out with those vendor over 10 years, so you need to replace them. It's a bit harder to have a higher scalability and maintenance in the long run. So what could be an alternative to that? And what we decided to do at Laserax was like, look at the embedded automation. So embedded automation remove the dependency on a separate PLC. The control logic runs directly on an industrial PC or single board computer, or even a server if you want. So with CODESYS runtime on Linux or Windows, you can transform a general purpose hardware into powerful PLC. It's really a more software-defined approach. Some purists might say that it's a riskier approach and that PLC should stay independent in an isolated system. But to that, I'll say that if it's built properly, this architecture is the way to the future. In offering, it's also something that many companies are already going to do. So it's not an undoable idea. It's already something that is in motion. And talking about CODESYS runtime on Linux, I mean, one of the biggest strength, if to my opinion, is the runtime on Linux as opposed to Windows, because it allows you to choose the hardware you want. You can scale your performance, you can scale your hardware. You're no longer limited to a proprietary platform. This makes your system future-proof and adaptable. Let's say here you have a PLC that's talking Ethernet IP. You can do that with the CODESYS. You can talk afterwards Profinet with another one. Let's say that you do have a database or a server that requires data. You can use OPC UA and you can gather your IOs using EtherCAT. And that is all done within the same system without crazy plugin or having external hardware. Everything can be done on the same hardware with the same platform. And it's open. You can add whatever you want. And since it's Linux, you have a community that can help you out to develop a new feature that will be linked to your runtime environment, which give you all the flexibility you need to grow and offer like a more adapted automation-based product to your client. So looking at the different advantages, the first one will be cost saving. I mean, by eliminating the need of a separate PLC, you can reduce your costs. Many machines already include an industrial PC anyway for either visualization, data logging, or other application. So why not harvest the power of that machine and run your PLC on it anyway to reduce your footprint and your costs? Then, as I mentioned earlier, you have a software-defined approach. So with this software-defined approach, the same CODESYS application can run on multiple devices. You can visualize it. Sorry, you can run it on cloud if you want. You can deploy it at the edge. Hardware can change, but the code will not. So you can ensure like a future proofing there. Developer keep the same CODESYS engineering tool as well that is compliant with IEC norms, which is great because it's often required by many clients of ours to be compliant with that. So that means that your team only need to learn one environment and they can deploy it on many different platform afterward without retraining or recoding. And lastly, remote deployment. It's a great advantages as well. Embedded automation make it easier to update and maintain system remotely. So with Linux runtime, you can deploy software and update them over network. You can monitor logs. You can even run CODESYS inside Docker if that's something that's available for you. So it's more of a DevOps practice in automation, but that's where the future is heading. So that's where you want to go. So to answer my primary question, that was, is it the crazy statement or possible viable solution? I'll say that it's not just a possible viable solution. It's the solution to go to because you have hardware independence that give you flexibility, cost saving, future proofing. It's a good product development that is oriented toward the automation world. It aligns with a broader industry trend that is moving away from hardware defined solution into a more like automation based but software approach that give you the flexibility that you need. And one great tool that can help you with that will be WebVisu. So big fan of WebVisu here. So I'm gonna just talk a bit about it. Pretty sure if you use CODESYS, you already know. But there's a lot of hidden feature that maybe people don't. So let's dive right in a little bit. So WebVisu uh, is CODESYS for those of you who don't know, is CODESYS built-in web visualization technology. It's allow you to create HMI screens directly in CODESYS environment and deploy them as web application. Operator can access them toward any standard web browser without the need of a special client license or software. So to me, on a personal note, I've used CODESYS since CODESYS version 2.3 back in the days. The visualization was not that great at the time, but since then it evolved dramatically. So they keep updating it. They keep looking at ways to improve it. And nowadays it's a really beautiful and powerful tool. So I put some example. If you look a bit on the right here, it's an example from the CODESYS website. So there's a little visualization webinar that is used. So I take it from there. It gives you a great example if you want to look at the possibility of either what kind of finish you could have or what kind of technology you could do. And on the left, there's a screenshot of like the development platform with CODESYS. It's really simple to do visualization. It's a drag and drop approach. You configure what you need to configure. You can use your variable directly in your system, as you may know, or you can use local variable directly on your page, or you can use Visu user-oriented variable to do more of a object-oriented programming. So that's really a good and flexible tool that can be used for that. So if I go quickly and mention all the advantages that people probably already know, but I'm sure it's worth mentioning. One of the greatest strengths of WebVisu is device independence. So the HMI, as I said, can run on any web browser, whether it's a PC, a tablet, or on a smartphone. You can run it on anywhere. So that gives you the ultimate flexibility that you need. Customization is also a big advantage. It's a big factor. So you can design multilingual HMI for global use, create responsive layout that adapt to different screen size, and you can apply your branding if you want on your HMI to comply with your company look and feel. So you can have all the extensibility that you need. It's also have the great benefits of reducing your cost because traditional setup usually require dedicated HMI panel, as been mentioned by other presenter. But with WebVisu, you can use existing PC, tablet, anything that will be able to access the network. So it eliminates the cost for that and reduce footprint as well. And lastly, a big point for us at Laserax is the remote access justification, because WebVisu allows you to do remote access of your automation system. If you use proper security, such as VPN or HTTPS, your service team and engineer can monitor and control your system outside of the plant. This reduces downtime and improve support capability. Nowadays, if you want to be a global company, you cannot always have a representative in every country that you're dealing with. So having a proper way to do support that is directly integrated into your system is a great way to do that. And one of WebVisu also, I think to me, one is of its advantages is the rich graphical possibilities. So WebVisu is just, it's not just a simple button and text that you grab and drop. You have a lot of advanced graphical element like gauge sliders, real-time trend curves, alarm lists, and animated objects. This allows engineers to design HMIs that are up to date, that are engaging, that have a visual look, that are nice to look at. It's a great tool for also people that want to take their HMI to the next level using the HTML5 control editors. You can create objects. After that, you use a JS wrapper. You can incorporate it into your system. So again, like sky is the limit there. I put some example that are in CODESYS website of what you can do with it. After that, I will also show you what Laserax did with the visualization, what kind of HMI we did in a few slides. So before that, I just wanted to mention something that will link to the next topic as well, is that integration with IT tools, because WebVisu is web-based, it can be integrated with IT system more easily. That dashboard can be pull or push data through database. You can do, if you want, an API connection to a ERP or a MES system, and visualizing can be linked to cloud analytic platform. This makes the bridge, it's the one of the first step to bridge the automation and the business intelligence side of a company. So let's look at like a simple application, what it might look like. So let's say that you have a relatively basic field device, such as a temperature sensors that communicate with Modbus. So you can decide that like, okay, I'm going to link that to CODESYS. But then afterwards, you would like to provide that data to data analytic program. Let's say that you want to use Node-RED, which is what we do at Laserax time to time. So you could link that data to Node-RED using OPC UA. So your field bus that is in Modbus will go to CODESYS. CODESYS will send that to OPC UA to your data analytic program. And even if you want, you can also add a web HMI that is completely separate from your unit that is also using OPC UA technology to do that. And in the end, maybe you want also to provide that information to a production line, PLC, that control your line and that will need to do interaction with other machine. So you could do Ethernet IP or any kind of other field bus device. And all of that can be visualized with WebVisu. So again, CODESYS coupled with its visualization platform, it's one of the great first steps toward IT tool integration. So here's the little demo of the web HMI that is built into our laser controller. So every controller that Laserax provide, there's a web HMI. This is the latest version. So we are more inspired about like a SCADA slash HMI, machine HMI that you can see. So if we play it, we're using the classic logging that's provided by CODESYS. So I can log in as maintenance, and that will give me access to some new menus. So I also do some hidden information about the company, hidden on the logo. I can also change date and time, as any good interface will let you change the time zone. And this is all embedded tools that CODESYS provide within WebVisu. As I mentioned before, also there's graphical trend that you could do. So here we can trend a flow. Obviously, the system is stopped, so we're not monitoring anything. It's more to see that everything can be dynamic. A slider that is pretty sleek. We also have our navigation pan. So we did decide to use all of those Visu user-based variables so that in a more object-oriented programming kind of philosophy, every time that you logged in on the system, you can navigate throughout the menu without affecting the display of other user that might use it. So that's a really interesting way to do HMI, so everybody can have the screen that they want and display it as they need. A great thing that doesn't incorporate is the trend. So instead of being online with your PLC, with the visualization, you can decide to monitor specific signal that can be problematic during an integration, and not having the IDE to to troubleshoot your system is really great advantages that we can offer over a competitor. So here I'm trying to run a sequence and can start, but obviously I don't have my laser safety on. So there will be an alarm. So I have an animation. I'll have also an alarm viewer that will give me a different alarm that I have. And codices have also a lot of different objects that are super useful. As I demonstrated earlier, there's the PDF integration that you can put directly into your system. So as a web application, sometimes you might not always find all the documentation that you need. So with that, you can include PDF into your system so people don't need to look for it. You want to link it to another web application that's running on another system, you could decide to do that as well in a kind of an iframe situation. So again, simple example of what we did with the visualization. And what is great about it is that this did not require the whole team to do. Didn't require the whole year to develop. I mean, just in quite a few weeks with one person, we developed that application. Now we can build upon it and improve it. We're quite proud of it. And all of that thanks to the powerful tools that CODESYS and WebVisu offer. So in the end, advantages of multiple possibility of WebVisu, was it that good? I think the answer will be yes, because you have cost saving, you have flexibility, you have scalability. It's like I mentioned, sky is the limit possibility. As long as you put effort into it, you can push boundaries of limitation that you might have had with previous or other company system. So it's a modern HMI for modern industry. I mean, in summary, WebVisu it eliminates the need of a dedicated hardware. So you can do all the customization that you want. So it's future-proofing your system. And like I said, it's the first step into the main topic I wanted to talk about today in that talk, which is linking IT and OT technology. And that's a big talk because we hear it a lot with the Industry 4.0. Some are for it, some are against it. There's a lot of different way to approach that, but CODESYS can be a really interesting tool. And the question I have sometimes that people will tell me, like, can they really work well together? Are they meant to be separate? Then we'll dive into that. Let's see what's the I2 gap, why the bridging will matter, the advantages of doing that bridge, and a little example of like what we did with other machine that we do that incorporate a bit more of IT, and ending up with a small security note because that's important to know that codices also take into account those things when merging everything together. So let's look at that. So IT and OT gap. On the OT side, you have like your field devices. So every control engineer will be familiar with that. You have your PLC, you have your remote IOs, you can have a drive, any kind of devices, motor, name it. So that's your OT side. But when it comes to IT, it will handle usually more like database, analytic, business processes. And like that's what the IT side is. And for me, for a while, I also name it the dark side because I like to joke about it, but that's usually where the problem was coming from in my previous experience. That whereas it was difficult to understand, their philosophy was so different. So there really was a wall between the two features. And so they've been usually historically separated world. But as I come to realize there was more between there was more similarity between the two worlds since it's fall under the broader umbrella of programming. And instead of fighting against it, we should look at way to bring them together. So bridging IT and OT, it's not just about connecting device. It's about enabling a new kind of a smarter industry. With CODESYS as the bridge, you can feed machine data into predictive maintenance model, optimize production process in real time. You can also integrate directly into your enterprise system or your ERP. That makes operation not only more efficient, but more resilient and scalable. So IT and OT integration transform automation from just control to a source of a competitive advantage. It's the occasion to harvest the best of every technology, and Codesys is the right tool for the job. So let's start about the OT side. Codesys support virtually all major field buses on the industry. It makes possible to integrate any device from multiple vendor into a unified automated solution. So if you look at the PLC again, Ethernet IP, talk with that PLC. PLC number two can be Profinet, no problem, it can handle that. You have a device that is a can open, it can be integrated into CODESYS, no issue. You want to have the fastest protocol to monitor your IOs, you can do that as well. Or you have older device that only support Modbus, it can be all handled by CODESYS. And there's a phrase I always use to say when I try to describe CODESYS, it's one platform to rule them all. For all those Lord of the Ring fans out there, it's really about having something that can unify the OT world and that's also bridging into the IT world. Because on the IT side, Codices provide powerful integration tool. MQTT enable you seamless connection to cloud platform, for example, or OPC UA can provide a secure and standard communication across vendor for, let's say, your server. You also have direct connection with MySQL database. I mean, the limit is just where you want to push it. So unlike traditional PLCs that locks you in into proprietary hardware, a Linux-based runtime will give you a true IT-style flexibility. Codices can run inside a Docker container for simple deployment. It can run on a virtual machine for high availability, or it can be directly on your system, depending on your architecture. What is powerful is that automation can now coexist uh, with IT application like database, dashboard, or security services on the very same industrial PCs and work more seamlessly between all of those integration. There's various ways to interact. I mean, for in at Laserax, we work more with MQTT and OPC UA, but there's also instances when we do smaller application with external call, or you can use shared memory, or you can develop your own SDK library to integrate on a more seamless level your application. Again, that makes a no friction kind of integration with different technology, and that's where the future is going. That's where a lot of industry are going. So I wanted to show you a bit of an example of a data flow that we're using on some of our machine that use different technology on it. So IT and OT technology all merge under the same umbrella. So let's start again with our field device. Let's say it's an old field device. So I like Modbus to keep it simple. So Modbus to CODESYS. But then you come in with the idea that you would like to have a database. So people that are in charge of it will say, okay, let's put a microservice using C# that will, you know, manage the data in our SQL database. And we'll also like it to be displayed on a web HMI of our own. Like we'll keep codices for troubleshooting, but for user interface, we really want to go all out with the web technology using Node.js in the back to do our application. So that what can be done? So you do a little of brainstorming and just like, okay, on the IT side, we really like to go with MQTT. It's lightweight, it's super easy to do. Then, okay, Codesys can do that. Just use an MQTT broker, and then like you can do MQTT messaging between all of those applications. It's gonna be seamless. It's gonna be like fast enough and reliable enough, and you won't see the difference if you were using like a vendor locked-in application. But now you can have access easily to a database, and you will have a beautiful HMI that can stand out from the competition. But then comes another idea on that machine is that we would like to do some data analytic. Again, at Laserax, we like to do Node-RED, to use Node-RED to do so. Then, okay, no problem. Let's do an OPC UA link, and then you will link that to your data analytic program that can be run on a server external to your machine. Then on that machine, there's not only sensors, there's also a vision system. So we come in, we say, okay, we do have a vision system. We'd like to code it in C++ this time because that's where the expertise is. So we're going to connect it, let's say, using a USB-C connection. So how do we implement it? Because we would like that vision system to control linear access motors that will be connected to a drive. So then after a bit of brainstorming, we're just like, okay, a microservice, easiest way to interact with other microservice or codices could be MQTT because we already have an MQTT broker. And then afterwards, we're not going to link directly the VFD to the microservice. That will be a bit putting a bit of complexity for no reason. We already have codices that can handle various kind of VFD. So why not using an EtherCAT link to control your VFD in your motor? So now you can have like an easy data flow between like, okay, your vision system acquires data, share it to CODESYS, that will control the drive, both using like EtherCAT, which is super fast, a lightweight like MQTT. So your data latency is minimized, and you can control your system using your vision and move it according to what you need. And in the end, any great machine will be also integrated on a production line. So you will have a production line PLC. So let's say that you're in a factory that is more Siemens-based factory. So they will say, oh, but we would like to integrate your system, but we don't do EtherCAT. We don't like to do OPC UA or MQTT messaging. No problem. CODESYS is an automation platform. So we're going to go with Profinet and directly integrate with your system. And the beauty of it is that all of that is on the same powerful IPC. So you really minimize your costs, you maximize the integration, you maximize your technology and what it can do. You harvest again the best of everything, of what everything can do. I mean, CODESYS could be done directly to interact with MySQL, but having that microservice in between give you a bit more flexibility. Same thing for the interface. Could use WebVisu, we could use anything else. Vision system, simple vision could be done with CODESYS, but why not use advanced vision with something separate, but still linked it to CODESYS to interact with the rest of the machine. So on a finishing note, as soon as you bring you bridge IT and OT, cybersecurity become a top priority. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you knows already, but CODESYS support a secure protocol such as OPC UA with encryption to protect data. You have authentication role that you can use to protect from any change. So just as important as having a great environment, you also need to take into account certain kind of security for your system, especially if you're going to do remote support and thinking about your client reality. To avoid that, the Industry 4.0, that's something that was really on the matter in the last few years. So yes, versatility of CODESYS to link IT and OT technology. Yes, CODESYS can connect directly your field device to your business system. So that's something that no other PLC brand or automation industry have done before. An IT and OT conversion leave you to smarter product leave you to smarter factory, which is the foundation of our modern industry. People that keeps wants to fight and separate those acts as your bridge between IT and OT. It support all the major protocol, can integrate seamlessly with the kind of architecture that you might have to have a unified environment for a better and smarter manufacturing. Moving into that ever-changing world, as I talked about, CODESYS is going to be your friend and your go-to to be able to achieve that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to share today. So people might have question, comments, or insult, any of the matters. Again, my name is Olivier. You can contact me here on LinkedIn page if you want to talk more about it. Laserax, we're not a company that does contract for other company for automation, but as a CODESYS enthusiast, I'm always happy to exchange with anybody that would like to discuss or bring their system further. So thank you, Chris, for inviting me this year to do that. I love to talk about CODESYS. I could talk about CODESYS all the time. That's something that I'm really passionate about. I've been using it for a decade, and I'm like, I do have like a good relationship with the system so far. And thank you.